Welcome to the inaugural episode of Turntable Talk. This show, because this is the first episode, this show is basically just a way for me to force my friends to talk to me about music. Um, Starting with our first guest, whose name is Riley Oliver. He's a good friend of mine.
Hello?
Are you loud enough? You're plenty loud. All right. Um, well, I'm gonna answer the first part of the question, but so my first question for you is, what album are we talking about today, and why is it significant? So this album is, the name of this album is "This Old Dog" by the artist Mac Demarco. It's significant because contrasted with Mac DeMarco's earlier work, this album shows a level of maturity and I don't know, just like more adult themes than the rest of his work, right? Yeah, it's a special album to me. Oh, why is this album significant to you, Riley?
Okay. Well, I had the same idea as
Right, right.
our guy here. Pretty much, I think it's a good gateway for Mac DeMarco, transitioning from a lot of his earlier albums, like, Freaking Out Neighborhood,
All of that.
good example of his earlier work. And then,
For those who are unaware of Mac DeMarco's discography, "Freaking Out the Neighborhood" is a song from his second album, aptly titled "2," where he sings about apologizing to his mother after doing something very, very inappropriate on stage at a show, and his actions were, as the song or the title goes, freaking out the neighborhood, like scaring the neighbors, basically. And it's a fun little song, but it's not what you would call mature.
yeah. Anyways, compare that to the songs we see on This Old Dog, like Moonlight on the River. I just think it's a big leap for Mac DeMarco.
Right. That's one of the reasons I like this album a lot. Did you like this album? Why or not? I know we're kind of implying that you did, but did you like this album?
Oh, I like this album a lot. I think this album, more for me, I like how consistent it is with the songs. I think there's a good balance of good songs, in my opinion, and bad songs. That this is one of the few albums that I'm comfortable listening to in a sitting.
I would, in a sitting.
Just
I think,
power through it.
yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like I think I have a wider variety of albums that I can listen to like that, but that is, you make good points there. It is a very consistently good album. And yeah, I kind of agree with you. I like this album a lot. What was your favorite song?
Wow, well, my favorite song off of this album would have to be Moonlight on the River. I like it a lot because it's just, I think it's a very mellow song, and the soothing instruments really just kind of just takes you away to another place. It's almost like you're dreaming.
And we're going to be talking about Moonlight on the River a lot. It's a very good song, and we'll talk about why. But just for originality's sake, I'll say that my favorite song off this album would be maybe "This Old Dog." "This Old Dog" is, of course, the title track. It's number 2 after the first track, which is "My Old Man." "This Old Dog," I don't know. We've talked about how consistent the album is. It kind of gives me the same feeling. Maybe not as dreamy, though, on the song "Moonlight on the River." Not to get technical, but there's like, Mac DeMarco is famous for what he does with the effects he puts on his guitars, and the effects that he does to his guitars on "Moonlight on the River" do have a dreamlike effect. I wouldn't say that's as much the case for "This Old Dog."
I can agree.
Yeah. but it's still like a very relaxed album. I think it's a little downtrodden, right? Um, I don't know. It's kind of sad. Um, yeah. What was your least favorite song on the album?
Oh wow. All right, that would have to be a wolf who wears sheep's clothes.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that later.
Oh yeah. I can't really explain why. I just doesn't really click with me. I just it's weird because that's like the one. That's the one
The
song
one it sticks out like a sore thumb.
that I just don't like.
Okay, okay. We're gonna come back to that. Trust me.
All right.
But I would say my least favorite song off of this album is Sister. Sister is, I think, I can't verify this currently, but it's like, I think the shortest track on the album. It's, I don't know. I feel like this is a big thing with this album. It's consistent. This song isn't as consistent with me. I feel like it ends really abruptly. I don't know. It feels like it belongs on another album for me, and like you said, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why I didn't like what was it, a wolf that
Wolf
wears
Who Wears
sheep.
Sheep's Clothes, yeah.
It's because it just comes in to the album at a weird spot. Only because of the song that was previously played and was going to play after.
Right, right.
Which I believe after that would be Moonlight on the River.
Yeah, no.
Really?
I don't think so. I'm investigating now. But I really think Moonlight on the River is a lot farther after that. Just give it a second.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually. No, actually, there's a lot of good songs in between that and that. I think I'm not gonna. There's a further question that I'm gonna debate the merits of A Wolf Who Wears Sheep's Clothes on.
Yeah.
But for now, what impact do the themes of maturity presented on this album have they had on your life? Sorry.
Well, I don't think any of the themes had an impact on my life. I wasn't
my man.
exactly influenced any of my decisions in my life. However, I feel like because of the themes of maturity, they help present or help shape a story that's enjoyable for the audience to listen to.
Okay, that's valid. That's very valid. I like that answer. Just give me a second here. Right. So, for this album, oh no, I was gonna use that from like one of the other questions, but I would say the themes of maturity on this album. I guess I could go back. For me, the themes of maturity on this album are kind of like personal, right? And that's like a really vague way to put it, but they, so for Mac's discography, which we'll talk about like a little later, I don't know, Riley was the first one to get me into this artist, Mac Demarco. And when initially, I started with that Immature album that we talked about earlier, his second album too. I started and I liked it because it had a youthful energy to it, right? And that was like 2 years ago in 10th grade. And I feel like I was in a weird spot where I didn't feel like growing up. I didn't really want to, and not to say I'm grown, but I still don't want to like grow up in a way, in a sense. But I don't know, it was just weird for me. It was a tonal shift, something that I couldn't really relate to. I was still a lot more immature than I am now. I was still younger, for one. So it was something I couldn't like get with. And for a while we kind of butted heads on this, where I liked his older stuff and you liked his newer stuff because it was more mature, and I liked it because it was less mature. But I don't know. This album has had a lot of time to grow on me, and I don't know. It's had a lot of time to grow on me. We'll get back to it. So is this your favorite Mac DeMarco project? I'm kind of sensing the answer before you say it here, but is it the favorite? Is it your favorite? And if so, Or if so, in what ways is it better than the rest of his discography? If not, debate the same for yeah.
So, this is not my favorite
It's
project.
not. Oh,
It's not.
okay.
So, it would have to be between Salad Days and controversial pick here. Here Comes the Cowboy. I'll explain why that one.
Actually, I'll tell you before you go. That has grown on me. I think I'm really into On the Square right now, which is a song off the
That's
album.
a good one.
Yeah. Continue.
So, for Salad Days, I just
Salad Days, by the way, is Mac Demarco's, you could say, breakout album. It's the one that everybody knows. It's like his third, right?
well, I would say
Is it his third album?
yeah,
can
yeah, that is because
Okay.
there's Rock and Roll Nightclub. Yeah.
But go ahead.
For starters, I think a lot of people know two more now. Yeah, two, just because of My Kind of Woman, because that kind of like blew up.
It's a good song.
But I would say Salad Days is around the same reasons for This Old Dog, because it just has a lot of consistent songs in it, and if anything, it just really gives off Salad Days. Like the name really holds true to a lot of the music.
Explain what you mean by that.
Well, Salad Days means, at least in my terms, it's like a good day, like a blissful day,
Easy days.
easy days. And so I think a lot of songs off this just kind of really give off that like that mood for it, like Blue Boy, Salad Days.
It's just very like easy songs. So one of the
Yeah.
songs is literally named "Go Easy."
Yeah.
I think, actually, ironically, I think that one's a little less easy. But yeah, I do see what you mean there with the easy songs.
Yeah, and then for Here Comes the Cowboy, very biased here. It has three of my basically favorite songs off his entire
Some of
discography.
his best work is on that album.
You know,
That is, for the audience, that is his very most recent album. It came out in 2019. Yeah, I guess it's kind of good. I haven't listened to it in total, or, all at once yet, because, I don't know, it kind of irks me the wrong way when I initially started getting into Mac DeMarco. But go ahead, explain why you like it.
yeah. So my favorite songs on there. My all-time favorite song by him is Preoccupied, which was the first song I listened to by him.
Really?
Yeah, my first ever song is Preoccupied.
Mine was Ode to Viceroy, which is off of 2,
That's a good one.
which we'll talk about in a minute.
My second favorite is Heart to Heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, and then my fifth favorite is K.
Your fifth favorite? That's weird.
I know.
What
Well,
is-
it's my
what
fifth
is-
favorite of all.
What is 3 and 4?
3 is Moonlight on the River,
Uh-huh.
and 4 can't list it on the top of my head. Like
What album is it off?
it's on Salad Days.
Go Easy. Chamber of Reflection.
I'll come back to that one if I remember.
We're going to find it.
Okay.
While I look for it, I guess. Actually, let me just solve the mystery of what song is number 4 real quick. It's preoccupying. The artist. I go to Salad Days. Is it Salad Days? Is it Blue Boy? Is it Brother? Is it Let Her Go? Is it Goodbye Weekend? Is it Let My Baby Stay? Is it Passing
Oh,
Out
it's Chamber
Peace?
Reflection. Okay. My bad.
Oh my god.
I'm
That's
sorry.
the biggest one. That's
I
like
know.
his main song.
I know.
Okay. Well, back on topic. My favorite album, and I was fully prepared to defend the album too, just because I thought this was your favorite album.
No.
But my favorite album would definitely have to be this one, This Old Dog. We used the term themes of maturity earlier. I think it gets a lot less vague than that. We'll discuss it in a minute, but I don't know. It's just, yeah. We've talked about how it's consistent. We talked already ad nauseum about why this album is so good. I like it for all those reasons. For 2, it's the first Mac DeMarco album I listened to, and it's got some really great songs on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for not having a whole spiel on that one. I thought I had more. Now, all right. For this next question, this album deals pretty heavily with themes of loss. specifically the loss of Mac Demarco's father. Have you ever lost anyone close to you? And if so, did this album have any effect on how you processed that?
Well, I have lost someone close to me before. It was a good friend I met in the summer of freshman year, which, believe it or not, is the one who introduced me to Mac DeMarco.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
But we just kind of lost contact.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, and I guess this doesn't really count as a spoiler warning, Mac's father passed away. He passed away. I don't know the reason. It's not important, or not important specifically to our purposes here today. He passed away, and the album is a lot about how Mac processes that, and also the other general facets of growing up. It's weird to consider, your dad dying as part of growing up, but it happens to literally everyone who's ever existed, so
Yeah.
it's technically part of it. Yeah. So when Riley said, he talked about a friend, I thought his friend passed away. So it was a very different mind state. So he just lost contact with him, which that does suck as well. How did this album, help you process that?
It had no effect on magnifying his feelings.
Yeah, I would imagine. I think I was talking about something different. For me, I have lost people close to me, but I was lucky enough that until very recently, I was lucky enough for those people to be close to me, but not really close to me. It was my cousin's grandpa, who I couldn't remember having a conversation with, so it was a weird funeral for me there. It was I think she was my cousin. It was very, really tragic, but I also couldn't remember having a conversation with her. And then also it was the biggest one before recently was my grandfather. But the thing with my grandfather is I also have never had a conversation with him because for all my life he's been blind and almost deaf. So it wasn't really possible to have a conversation with him. Whenever me and my dad would go visit him, it would just be, I'd hold his hand because we couldn't see. I'd hold his hand and let him acknowledge my presence, and then we kind of just be there and have little chit chats with him. But didn't really have the opportunity to forge a deep connection with him. Very recently, a family friend and mentor to me passed away, and that was very, very surreal. It was very surreal because at the funeral I was going back and forth and thinking for one, why don't I feel worse? This man was very, very, very important to me, very important to a lot of people I love, and it was weird that I didn't feel these movie-like, I didn't go into a deep depression. I didn't have this, it wasn't like a movie where, it's very visible that the character's bothered. And I can't, it's not like I'm saying he doesn't, I still haven't processed this. I don't know how this album affected all of that. But I know that listening to this album made me feel better. And I know that listening to the song Moonlight on the River made me feel better. We'll talk about why it isn't exactly, one-to-one analogy with that situation later. But the dream-like feelings that Moonlight on the River elicits that we talked about, it really did soothe, those feelings. It was definitely a whole process. Damn. I can't believe you said your friend. It's okay.
I mean, everyone that I've lost, at least in my family, I never knew. If I did know them, it was like really
Right,
brief.
right. Like kind of like
my
me.
great grandmother on my dad's side died like a long time ago when I was
I've
like a
never.
child.
I don't think I had a great grandmother.
I've only seen her once. I have one photo with me and her in it. It's like a whole family one.
Other than
I've like
that,
never knew
nothing.
her, so
Right. Which that's sometimes how it goes. That was how my cousin's grandpa was with me. Like, um, it is always sad when somebody dies, but I didn't really have a tangible connection to him.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, all right. Moving on. Okay. Mac's relationship with his father has been historically less than ideal. You can find examples of this all throughout his catalog. On the album too, the title track, Cooking Up Something Good, um, Mac depicts his father as, laying on the couch while him, his brother, and his mom do all the work. Right? Yeah. I think there are periods in his life in Mac's life, that his father was not really in it. Right. So given all of this history, what message do you think he was trying to get across with the song Moonlight on the River?
Yeah, it almost sounded like he was trying to convey his conflicted feelings about his father and how he felt when he left.
Yeah.
At like a young age.
Right. At a young age?
I think. Did he not leave at a young age?
Well, I think he left at a young age, but I think the song goes over explicitly a little more than that.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of what I got from it. Just conflicted feelings about him leaving.
That's a new angle. Do you have any, could you elaborate on that at all?
I mean, I can look up the lyrics. I mainly got that from, yeah, so I guess, in the first few bars, it's like, I'd say, see you later, if I thought I'd see you later, and I'd tell you that I love you, if I did, so strange to feel about it, such strange emotion standing there beside it. I kind of just got the idea of, it's very conflicting for him, because it's a strange emotion that he's, with, and he's deciding how to feel about it.
Right. I like that take. I like that take a lot. It's definitely not what I was thinking of. Well, the phrase "moonlight on the river" is talking in more literal terms about Mac Demarco's father's life, where there is moonlight on the river of Mac Demarco's father's life, meaning that it is nearing its end. It's very close to its end. When the moonlight is on the river, it sometimes looks like the moon is going into the water. That's what he's talking about. And what I thought about it was Mac DeMarco reflecting on his relationship with his father, as his father, is leaving this world, right? As you know, the final track, this is the penultimate track of the album. The second to last, Moonlight on the River, is the final track on the album, is watching him fade away, and it's almost like literally, it sounds like a funeral march. It sounds, really downtrodden, and it's kind of like literally watching the life leave him on his hospital bed. That's the sound that gets. But basically saying that, and I'd tell you that I loved you if I did. He's reflecting on, his relationship with his father. Now, I asked this question because, very importantly, at the end of the song, the guitar gets very distorted.
Yeah.
And importantly, you can hear laughter at the end of the song. Now, I've always had this crackpot theory about the song, but given his already negative relationship with his father, do you think that the laughter at the end of that song, where his father is passing away, do you think that implies that he thinks his father went to hell?
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's
this is I've always thought that about this song. I've had no one to talk to about it till now.
That's crazy. I could definitely see that. I didn't think about it like that. It was just like, wow. Um, I feel like I could also see that as like, I don't know what his father was like. Maybe
You're
he's a bit of
correct.
like a joker. So maybe he got the last laugh. Maybe Mac's dad.
How so?
I don't know. That's the thing. I
You
don't know
don't
too
know.
much about him.
You think his father was
That
dunking on him by dying?
I don't know. I'm like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
this could be like what Mac thinks too.
Hmm.
In
I do agree.
or it could be Mac Demarco laughing at his father's death, but that's like.
Yeah, it is a strange thing to put laughter at the end of a song like that.
But I do like that theory because it makes sense because of how it's being described, like Moonlight on the River is like nearing death's door,
Hmm.
and then laugh.
Laughter.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah, that's a. I'm really glad we had this, or we were able to have this talk because I wanted to tell somebody about that forever. I knew that you would be the one I spoke to about that. Yeah. So, I guess moving that note or leaving that note, um, with a, a more brevity, a question with more brevity. Sorry. Is there any song on the album that you consider to be underrated?
Underrated. Wow. Um. Yeah. I have it written down here. In my opinion, an underrated song is that would have to be "Dreams from Yesterday."
Okay.
I, for starters, it's like one of those consistent songs. I think it is. It's like I just think it has like a chill vibe to it. Even that's like a poor way of explaining it. And
Yeah,
I just
'cause it's
pretty
kinda
much
all
I
of
can
that album.
yeah yeah. I can just kind of just sit there and listen to it. I'm just like, okay, I'm happy with this. I just think it's a peaceful song, even though I have no idea what the song's about because I haven't done enough digging on it.
Well, I mean, I think you could just infer that it's about.
Yeah, dreams from.
Well, no. Like, it's about the dreams from yesterday. Look up the lyrics. Look at the lyrics. I swear there's a theory. Um, uh, actually, no. How about I look up the lyrics and you tell me why you think it's specifically underrated? Like, who is underrating it?
Who I particularly think it's underrated. I'm only basing this off of the plays on Spotify
Oh, of course. I mean,
because I
from a
just
literal
think
sense, yeah, that makes sense.
that okay. I don't think it's the best produced song in the entire album. They're better, but I feel like it's underrated in the fact that it just deserves to be more. There should be more plays to it.
Right. Okay. Um, I'll ask you why you think it's not as well produced as the rest of the album in a minute here, but while we were talking, it's kind of looking at the lyrics here, it's kind of about, you know, having aspirations or dreams that you didn't really jump on in the past. Um, in the second stanza, um, it reads, "So why then are you crying? It was you then, or it was you who denied them. No amount of tears could roll back all the years, bring back all of your dreams from yesterday." Um, yeah, so I think that's basically what the song's about. I don't think it's a very, I mean, you could consider it deep. I don't think it's a very hard to understand song.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think it's not as well produced? I'm afraid I don't hear it in my ears as we're speaking, so.
Well, I guess what I mean by more well produced, I guess for starters, it's gonna be a bit biased. I just think there's better sounding songs on that album. I
Compared
mean,
to songs like Moonlight on the River, everything's awful. I get you.
I mean, we can do like the TikTok famous songs on that album, like One More Love Song,
Yeah.
and then there's what was the other one that blew up? There's one more.
Just like seeing her.
For the first time.
Is that it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
for the
have
first.
to.
Yeah, it's for the.
So for the first time.
Yeah, I just think those are great songs.
And they sound really consistent, so you're saying that Dreams from Yesterday doesn't sound as consistent?
Just as I said, it's like biased. I just like the songs a lot more than it. So I guess more well produced isn't the right word for that. It would
So
just
you're
be
saying that you're the one
I'm
underrating
the
it.
one. I think it's underrated, but I also think that
You're also underrating it.
well, I think it just deserves more plays on Spotify than it has.
Okay, valid.
That's like
Valid.
But yeah.
So my underrated song is "Moonlight on the River," which not no. My underrated song is "A Wolf Who Wears Sheep
I
Clothes."
hate you.
Yeah, I like it. Um, I like it a lot. It's underrated because I felt like I knew you would say it was the worst song on the album. It does kind of go against like, in a sense, if you think about it the wrong way, it does go against the very laid back, chill, introspective.
Excuse me, do I need to play the song right now?
No, don't play the song. I might put it in post. I might put it in post. And don't threaten me ever again on my podcast. But if you think about it, yeah, sort of, it does go against that chill vibe of the album, but it's it. So, Riley, you're white, right?
I might be.
Yeah, you're white. So, I feel like you would have more experience with a hootenanny than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you bringing back some memories here? It reminds me of like a hootenanny. You feel me? I've never been to a hootenanny, but as I've said before, you have. You've got plenty of experience. Um, just what comes to mind as a hootenanny in my mind, that song is playing. Right, and it's kind of just really joyous. Like we were talking about, I don't remember what the lyrics are particularly about, but I have a lot of fun when I listen to that song. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, real hootenanny music. He's nodding no.
Dude, listen to Choo Choo.
Choo Choo is... We don't have to talk about Choo Choo. Alright, listen. That's another one of Mac Demarco's songs. Alright, back on track. In the song My Old Man, Mac speaks on the ways in which he's becoming like his father. How do you find yourself becoming like your parents? And is this good or bad?
Yeah, I feel like I'm...
Why are you laughing?
because I have a joke prepared for this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get...
This is amazing. Keep going.
I think I'm starting to get more racist.
That's awesome.
No, but no seriousness. I'm becoming a lot more like my father.
How so? I hope it's not that first one.
Oh no, definitely is. He's the racist of the family.
Is he?
I won't disclose that.
Okay.
No, just more like one of the views on his life where kind of just drifting along with events and whatnot, just going through it all.
Right. Is that good or bad, do you think?
I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. Another thing, I guess an influence that he has had on me, I'm becoming more, is coffee. He introduced coffee to me sophomore year.
Unfortunately, yeah, he did. He did introduce coffee to you. You're wearing a coffee store's hat right now.
Oh, weird. And the door is locked. Anyways, I guess he's just got me more into coffee, and he's very respectful about, I guess, coffee. He really likes the whole like coffee house culture and like just sitting down and having a cup of coffee and talking to people, and that's definitely had an impact on how I see coffee and how I drink it, because I'm proud to say that I don't view coffee as an addictive substance, even though I like it a lot.
I can quit anytime. I promise.
I can. Just watch. No, if I drink coffee, I don't drink a lot of it in a sitting. I just kind of like to have a cup, and then just that's it for the day. that's kind of what I'm proud of myself for, is that
Now, that being said, you have been drinking coffee for only 2 years, right?
I would say 2 years, yeah.
So we don't know the long-term effects. And you can quit anytime.
I swear I can quit any time. Just, like, I promise.
I believe you, right? I believe you. And you said neither good nor bad. On the song, and I'll go into my case, but on the song, I get the sense that Mac DeMarco, in the song, the lyrics go, uh-oh, looks like I'm seeing more of my old man in me. That's my rendition of the lyrics. But I get the sense when he says that, how he says it, it doesn't sound like he considers it a bad thing. And I like it isolated, that's a very, like, sweet moment where he's, like, maybe I am becoming like my dad, but maybe that's not the worst. Um, but contrasted with, I feel like, the broader arc of the album and his relationship with his father, we just discussed the theory that Mac thinks his father, or Mac might think his father went to hell. I don't know if he would consider that change to be a good one, necessarily. So it's two contrasting points in the album that I thought was kind of cool. For me, I think specifically my father, I look a lot like my dad. That's what people say. Of course, when you live with someone, you don't think you look alike at all. People also say I look like my sisters, but I don't see that either.
You're better.
Thank you. That being said, I feel like I'm becoming like my mom in more of a behavioral sense. I think my mom is like a clean freak, basically. And I go to a school where it is not in the popular culture to, like, waterfall when you drink from somebody else's water bottle.
Oh yeah, no, we're disgusting over here.
Yeah, that's disgusting to me, and I see it all the time, and it's not very sanitary.
Yeah. All the boys like to make out too.
You know that too. That's a thing too. Thank you, Riley. But yeah, I could hear my mom when I keep telling those people, "Yo, that's disgusting. Why are you drinking out of the same water bottle?" That just type of stuff. Like, my mom kind of ticks and stuff like that. That's how I see myself becoming like my mom. Yeah, fun. That's a fun little discussion. Now on the song for the first time, it's just like seeing her. Yeah, just so for the first time, Mac DeMarco speaks on the separation anxiety that he feels when he's apart from his girlfriend. Is there anyone or anything in your life that you feel it is hard to be apart from, and before you start, you cannot say League of Legends because that game sucks?
Well, I'm all out of cards. No, well, yeah, for sure, I feel that, and if anything, I feel that when I'm away from games. I'm not exactly the biggest gamer, but I used to take it very seriously in middle school.
Yeah, actually, I have, like, I mean, certainly not now, but I feel like I was only allowed to play video games or watch TV or stuff like that on the weekends when I was a kid, which I felt was pretty standard, but I had, like, a trillion friends who were watching whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and all of that good stuff. So, for me, I was kind of like hardcore gaming like that, but 2 years of quarantine beat it the heck out of me, to where when I needed to buckle down and get my college essays done, I didn't play video games for 2 months because I was at oversaturation at that point. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Anyways, I took it very seriously in middle school, and I held a iron fist over my priorities in at a young age, and I controlled a large portion of my middle school experience to the point where I just kind of gave up on school and just gamed. Like,
I could think of like little you gaming.
Yeah, it was bad. But I started to get more control over it and myself, and right now I'm in a pretty good spot. I don't game on the weekdays, and I only game on the weekends, but like at a certain house. And
Yeah, your
I'm,
trap
I'm
house. Yeah.
yeah, my parents are divorced, so I go in between houses
Mm.
every week. So I kind of like just go all out on the weekend every 2 weeks, pretty much.
And then the rest of the time is grind time.
Grind time, pretty much. And if anything, that's kind of like one reason why I'm like, I don't particularly blame my parents for this, but I wish they had taken it, not it more seriously, but more like just have more control over like the time I spent on it, because they're just like, get off that thing. They weren't like, of course, I know that seems like a bit intrusive on a kid, but like sometimes like parents like that.
What seems intrusive on a kid?
I guess more just like, maybe intrusive's not the right word, but more like you're forcing something on the kid that,
To get off of the game.
yeah.
It's kind of like forcing something off of a kid. That's what happened to me.
Anyways, my
Look how
parents
they
are like very free-willed, and I don't think they really saw, they, no, like they didn't really have it in them to do that, only because they didn't really like, that wasn't really part of their like what they believed in. But
You were too busy gaming. Okay.
yeah, so I don't really blame that for them. However, I did wish that they were a bit more controlling on my gaming. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I think something that it might be. I don't want to say it's hard to be away from, but it certainly felt like it was just like seeing it for the first time again. Was after I had a particularly uh, fruitless back end of a trip I took in summer. Right, I was with my cousin, but then I was with my auntie, and my auntie had a lot less to do. She hasn't raised kids for like years and years and years, so it's not like her house is tailored to having young people in it. It was kind of boring, and I was really excited to be back in San Diego, and I had like that breath of fresh air, hopping off the train, at Old Town Trolley Station. Like, oh man, it's been forever. I missed you. So not all the time. I mean, I'm going to college outside of San Diego because I wanted to be somewhere new, but particularly then it was just like seeing her being San Diego for the first time again.
That's one thing that I miss about taking the bus every day, because I got my license eventually, so I drive to school, is the trolley and bus ride back to my house. Because around the time when I started taking the trolley, because I realized that it was so much quicker than just taking the bus.
I was there. I remember that.
I know you told me about it, and I tried, and I was like, wow, I got home a lot sooner. It was just the view, looking outside the window, and especially that middle cart. The middle
a
cart
lot
was
of good
good.
memories.
I don't know why they don't have more of those.
That was like the worst part of senior year, is that nobody was taking the bus with me anymore. Yeah, I understand completely. Wow, that. I remember particularly to your dad's house, the bus ride from SDSU there, just like really pretty. I think it's like Alpine Drive or whatever, that like ride up is it's like a hill, and there's like flowers everywhere. I remember like just being really at peace on the bus ride to your house.
Yeah. If anything, I liked it going down, I believe. I forgot. I think it was going towards downtown. I think it's like either goes to SDSU or goes to downtown. I could be wrong. But I guess on the way to my house, because I took the 11 to my house, it was mainly just seeing the sunset going down, and sometimes my dad would get off of work, and I'd just go sit at Dark Horse, which is a coffee place, and just read a book and wait for him, and we'd get cappuccinos.
Right. Your old man. Yeah. That's cool. And to cap this thing off, sort of cap this thing off. Hold on. But who would you recommend this album to? Like, or who is it for? Like, what type of person would you recommend it to?
Wow. Okay, well, I would recommend this to anyone who wants to get more invested into Mac Demarco. I think
Some Mac DeMarco fans exclusively, or what?
I would just people are interested in his work because I think two is a good like album to get into for Mac DeMarco because it's just like has a lot of good classics on there, and I think they're all like. Not saying there's a lot of good classics on This Old Dog, but I feel like This Old Dog really is. It shows a lot about Mac and how he's aged and matured with his music. I think. I don't know if I'm right about this, but I'm gonna use Tyler the Creator for an example. These wasn't a lot of his early albums.
You're completely wrong. Shut up.
Okay, my bad.
No, I'm kidding.
prior to like Flower Boy, just kind of like edgy. I don't know. I
no,
can't.
no, you're kind of right. You're kind of right. Basically, like his first two albums and that era of Odd Future, which is the rap collective, or just artist collective that Tyler the Creator was in. That era of Odd Future was what they call horrorcore, and basically, this is not an official definition of horrorcore rap, but like I don't really like it, and it's basically where you say the most obscene things you could think of, like just to make people mad or elicit a reaction. I really don't like it. There's a lot of songs that are just plain bad on the albums that are really edgy. I think, but after a while he starts, broadening his horizons as a musician. His third album that he has, Wolf, it's still, I guess he had like a storyline going with the first two albums that were really edgy. I don't care for the storyline, but the music on Wolf is really nice. He gets into like a little bit of jazz rap here. He demonstrates his piano skills. He's actually really good at playing the piano. Actually, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
I know.
But I went to a tour for Tyler the Creator, in what is it? Sophomore year, 2019. It was his Igor tour, and for the tour, he got on the piano and he started playing this thing, and just beautifully led all the way into his song Earthquake. I'm sure whoever's listening has heard Earthquake before, but it just beautifully led in there, and it was like a brand new thing. It was really cool hearing. He's good at it.
Yeah.
And he started showcasing a lot of that stuff on Wolf, a lot of his more sensitive, music-wise, his sensitive side.
Yeah. I only reference that because I know that Flower Boy was an album that he was really vulnerable on. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like use that. Just to show that This Old Dog just shows a lot about how Mac has aged with his music career and his discography.
Yeah. And from that angle, I guess it is more for Mac fans because it's about his growth.
However, that's not to say you should listen to the album if you're not. I think you should give it a listen, especially One More Love Song, first time.
Right. Like, I think after... don't mean to interrupt you.
No, I finished.
I think maybe after a life event with a lot of turmoil, I think maybe that could be useful. Right, it's got stuff about breakups. This song, One More Love Song, it's kind of about like trying to make a relationship work and ending a failure. And it, for Mac, who is a musician, just becoming another love song he sings. All that resulted from it was, One More Love Song. I guess it's something that would help, or this album is like one that would help someone gain better perspective on things. That's what I like to recommend someone who wants perspective on something, who wants really chill music. Now, to cap this thing off officially this time, what are you personally, Riley, passionate about? Just go ahead and say you're passionate about.
Personally passionate about? Oh man, that's hard.
Don't say it's hard. Pick one thing.
Pick one thing, dude. Why not? I'll say coffee. All right, even though it's like.
Well, yeah. You do talk about.
It's weird.
I think that's something you're really passionate about.
Like right now, I'm like in a little bit of a gray zone with that. I would say that there's just, I don't want to say games because if anything, I'm trying to not try to remove it from my life, but definitely try to shorten it. Just get influence out of my life for, when I get into college. Coffee's the only thing I can think of. It just like, I can't, right now I'm just existing. I don't have a whole lot of passions.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's a good one. Just existing. All right. Thank you for coming on the podcast. This is a really great first episode. You're a really great guest.
I am pretty cool,
I don't know. I don't have any like social media links. I don't want anybody following my Instagram. I don't know. You don't follow me.
You should download Twitter and follow Oil in America 1.
You actually shouldn't download Twitter ever. I'm gonna have to say bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, happiness. Listen to Mac Demarco.
Smooches.